I was hoping
You forced it.
I was hoping you could each introduce yourself and give an overview of what you do here.
My name is Bekah. My name is Johnny. I'm facility manager. I pretty much do any and everything. Majority of the time, I'll deal with the shopping. I'm an MOD, so I deal with the floors, things like that. So pretty much any and everything that's needed. I don't know. Like I tell a person, from ordering things that we need to mopping and cleaning toilets.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever necessary. Team spirit.
The Johnny of all trades.
Yes, sir.
Bekah, what's your role here? Please introduce yourself first.
My name is Bekah. I am an MOD here, as well as a sort of guest relations program specialist. So a lot of the things that we provide here for guests, like lockers and mail access, is sort of overseen by me, as well as volunteer relations and the people who come and go from Listening House and this location.
What is an MOD? What does that entail?
In your role as MOD, you are essentially on the floor. You're sort of the go-to for any staff needs, as well as if there's volunteers in. The day or the shift is sort of run by you.
Okay.
As an MOD.
So you're responsible for everything that happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's a team effort, but yeah.
Yeah. Johnny, how did you get your start in social services?
One day, one of my family members was like, "Hey, I know a place that's hiring," and it was a treatment center. And then after that, I went from the treatment center to another organization, nonprofit organization. Worked there for about 10, 11 years. Then from there, I came to the Listening House. So it's really just somebody telling me that a place was hiring, and then it just kept snowballing into something bigger and bigger.
What kept you in this space?
The money. No, it's just I guess the people in the job and just learning, like, and understanding, like, the hiddenness of, of homelessness. Like, it's amazing on how, like, I've been in a homeless situation, but I never knew about homelessness, like the resources that was out there. So it just came interested in it. Now it's like 15 plus years later, and I was like, wow, I'm still in this.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect it, but it's cool, and it's every day is learning. So.
You worked in housing for a little bit?
Yep, I was a housing representative for the homeless, so I housed a lot of people, like, and 97, and I kept 97% or more housed. And the ones that didn't stay housed, they pretty much moved on. Like, not too many of my people on my caseload ever got kicked out.
That's impressive.
So then, next thing you know, I'm here, and it's like the same guests, same field, just not the housing part.
Same community?
Yep, same community. Just not that without the housing part, but everything else is pretty much the same of what I've been doing. Because I actually was an advocate before I became a housing rep. So I was an advocate for the homeless. Then I was you might as well say an MOD as well. Then from being an MOD, I went to a housing rep.
Okay. How did you find Listening House?
Because it was right next to the home where I worked.
Okay.
So they were like, at the end of the block was Listening House. It was connected to another one of the buildings that I worked in. And so then I knew a lot of people that worked there. So once I stopped working at the one place, then I reached out to one of the past supervisors, and they was like, yeah, we are hiring. And I know you could do the work because you've done the work. So that's how I ended up at Listening House. And I've been at the Listening House like 3+ years.
Okay.
So now I would say I've been in this field like 18 to 20 years. Almost 20 years. Wow. Yeah, wow. Jeez. But it's cool. It's just learning.
Yeah.
Always learning. And I'm really not a people person, but this job kind of makes you be one. So it brought me out my shell, and it's continually sharpening up my leadership skills.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool though.
Yeah.
I recommend it for everyone.
Yeah.
Try it.
Bekah, how did you get your start in social services?
One of my first jobs was actually working at a family daytime drop-in, sort of like what Listening House is right now. And then from there, I had odd sorts of jobs throughout college that were within and without social services. And then in between undergrad and graduate, I worked with recent refugee families who were looking for housing and schooling and jobs for the first time in the U.S. And I found out about Listening House a month or two before we opened up our Freedom House location.
Okay.
And that's sort of, so I've been in and out of it for a while now, for 8-ish years. But I found out about Listening House back in November of last year.
Wow. Nice. What kept you around all those 8 years?
I think, like Johnny said, you're always learning. Every day is a new sort of interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, at least not here, I've never had the same day. And I think, to touch more on what Johnny said, you're sort of always learning new things, not only about the community that we're serving, but about ourselves as leaders and about ourselves as staff here. And I think that the interactions that we get with the guests and with each other are what really kept me around, at least.
Are there any memorable experiences or interactions you've had with guests? I mean, I'm sure there's.
There are, and I think one that stands out is a guest who had frequented here for a while, and obviously we saw the challenges that our community experiences through him, and sort of watching the process, because it's not the same process for everyone, but the process of him being here, working on finding a job, and then like having stability to then get into housing. And now he frequents as a visitor every once in a while, and I think sort of those interactions and being able to still be like a constant in their lives, even though this is not the sort of resources they need anymore,
Mm-hmm.
is something that's really, really cool about this job.
2 guests just came back today for their mail. They said they got a place together at Luther, and they are both working as certified nursing assistants, and they bought a car.
Cool.
Yeah, and she said she would come by and visit, so I thought that was awesome. Johnny, do you have any experiences that stand out at Listening House? Guest interactions?
Plenty.
Yeah.
But it's just plenty, but it's all cool pretty much, because once again, it's just to see them grow from one position to another position to another position until they're out of here. But like Bekah said, they a lot of them return as visitors just because, this is like family. Like when you think about it, you're around more people more times out of the day than you're all around your own family members. And that's why I tell a lot of people, like, I'm around y'all more than anybody in my life, really, because I'm definitely around y'all 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. So, and that's more than I'll be interact with friends, people, and everything. But one of the good things is, like, this past summer, a couple guests here, assisted me with like some cleaning and stuff, and so we had a good time and we really interacted, and I learned a lot more about people that I thought I knew a lot about already. So it's just walking through the doors is just a big interaction, really. Once you walk through these doors, you're interacting, you're helping, you're being helped, you're assisting, you're being assisted. So all my interactions pretty much are always cool and knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm. It's fun seeing the same people every day.
Right.
Getting to know them.
And especially seeing them grow.
Yeah.
And time to time, of course, some regress, but a lot of them pick themselves back up and keep it pushing and moving forward.
Yeah.
So that's one of the beautiful things of this job, I would say, is because just you're seeing people grow, and you can really see people go through a struggle and come up out that struggle.
Yeah. What specifically about Listening House keeps you coming back to work every day?
The staff.
Yeah.
Of course. Mary Margaret, Molly, Connor, Becca, Annie. Trina Tail, I keep naming her. It's just, I don't know, it's just, of course it's the job and financial reasons, of course, that goes without saying, but it's just really just the people.
Mm-hmm.
The people and Listening House itself, like the understanding what Listening House is, understanding what Freedom House is like that keeps you coming back. That keeps me coming back because it's like we keep growing. Like I said, since I worked around Listening House through my other job, I just seen it grow, and then you hear the stories of how it's grown from where they started to here now. It was like before it was just talk of another building, but then we ended up getting the Freedom House building. So it's just like it keeps growing. It just keeps rolling forward. It keeps pushing forward, and it's a necessary thing. It's a necessary place. It's needed, but the growth of it is like wow. Like, and then to be a part of the growth. Like I've been a part of things, but it's already been established.
Mm-hmm.
Like Listening House is established, but it's still growing. So I enjoy that.
Exploding.
Very much so. So it's a good place to come back to, and it keeps me grounded, and it keeps me understanding like life, like, and I count and the blessings of being able to walk in this building and be able to walk out and go home.
Yeah.
Like that's what keeps me coming back. Well, of many things, but yeah.
Becca, what keeps you coming back to Listening House every day?
I think it's a really, I mean, this is a really strong place to work. This is a strong team that we have, and like every workplace has its challenges. Listening House has its challenges, but to come in sort of after the idea that Freedom House was already going to be there. Like I came in right before we got into Freedom House, so I didn't really get to see that path. But I think having been here and seeing the changes that Listening House has gone through since and is going to continue to go through, like having the trust that this team and this organization is going to be able to keep growing from here. The stability of the team and the stability of Listening House as a whole really keeps me here. It's kept me here. And I think with the nature of our job and the interactions that we have with our guests really strengthens us as a team, and it strengthens sort of my trust in what I do every day here.
Mm-hmm. What would you say the most challenging part of your job is?
I think especially in the winter, especially in like difficult weather, difficult seasons, there are nights that I leave, I'm closing, and it's the end of the night and people have to leave, and I think that there are nights where it's challenging because you've spent 8+ hours with this person already that day, and now you have to send them out into a lack of stability. They've been warm and fed all day here, and now there's another 12-ish hours that you don't necessarily know if they're going to be safe, and nor do they. And I think sort of the what ifs kind of make it difficult some days.
Yeah. What about you, Johnny?
Challenges?
The most challenging part of this job?
There are none. Just knowing you can't help everyone.
Yeah.
And everybody sometimes don't want to be helped. So that's probably for me the biggest challenge, like understanding like you can't help everyone. That doesn't mean don't put forth the effort, but you got to understand everybody doesn't always want your help as much as it look like they need your help. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges, is just finding that balance between yourself and the people that come through them doors of, should I help? Should I back off? Should I stay on them and stuff like this? But it's a beautiful challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't run from it. I definitely walk or run towards it, but it's just understanding that I just never thought that people in a certain position in life don't want to be helped. Like, you just think everybody would be like, yeah, but that's not the case all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Even like when from housing, it was like, you don't want housing? Like some of our definite strong campers, like, just think people right now are still camping. And it's like, you don't want to come in? You don't want to come get nothing? You don't, no. So that's one of the main things for me as a challenge, is just understanding that everybody doesn't want help.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are content in the position they're in, even though you feel you could help them or they should be in a different position, especially because a lot of them have the skills and the talent to be in a different position. So it's like, to understand that some people chose to stay in this life. Like, once they got acclimated in it, they're like cool with it. Like, so it's like wrapping your head around that and understanding, like, wow, some people are really content in this position. And it's not always, mental and anything like that. They're just cool with where they're at right now. But, you still reach out, try to give a hand, and sooner or later, when they do need assistance, you just try to be there for them.
Mm-hmm. A beautiful challenge.
Yes, it is.
I like that. Well, Johnny, facilities manager, and Bekah, program specialist, thank you both for the interview today.
Thank you much, Connor.
Thank you.
Rock on!
We did it.
We was interrogated.
Dream team.
It was great.
That's what you should title this.